Alright, so 4.6 is out and Arlecchino is playable, which means that based on where we are in the year, we have, I think, two more patches in Fontaine, 4.7, 4.8, and then 5.0 will drop for Notlan. So I would like to take a deeper dive into the kit for the Pyro Archon. Now, I've already done a video about what various different things I think could be in the kit for the Pyro Archon, but after thinking about it for some time, I have settled down into what I personally think should be in it. There's one specific kind of thing that should be in it, and I want to discuss that, and I also want to talk about how the Pyro Archon can be her holy, fiery Pyro Archoniness without necessarily stepping on the toes of Bennett. So there's a lot of talk about how Bennett is the best, or one of the best, supports in the game, and how the Pyro Archon is just going to end up being like a 5-star version of Bennett, and that because of that, Bennett will become less relevant, which, let's be honest, he's a 4-star who came out with the beginning of the game and still manages to find useful or gainful employment in the game all the way into 4.6. Even if he got phased out, he still had a really good run, so it's not really the biggest tragedy in the world. But I digress. So there is a way, I think, for the Pyro Archon to be the Pyro Archon without screwing over Bennett. And the way we come up with this is by taking a look at A, what makes Bennett really good, and B, what makes an Archon an Archon. So there are 3 things that make Bennett really awesome. Number 1, massive attack steroid. Plain and simple, that's one of the best things about him. Number 2, he does pretty good healing, pretty good sustain. And then number 3, he's a decent battery, both for Pyro and for the team in general. Now, obviously there is the general weakness that his Elemental Burst, which does the attack steroid and the healing, is stationary. So that's the first thing, obviously, that will go into the Pyro Archon, is that just make her mobile. But we're not going to... We'll get into that here in a second. Moving on. What makes an Archon an Archon? So, an Archon has 2 things. 1, they show off the full potential of at least one element and possibly multiple elements of their respective element. That sounded redundant. For example, Venti, King of CC. He is the strongest CC'er in the game, bar none, and demonstrates the full potential of control, which is partially the cornerstone of how the Animo element works. On top of that, because of how Swirl and I cannot say the word, the green Animo artifact thing works. Shred is a very important part of Animo, and if you look at Venti's full kit, he just shreds resistance all over the place. So he is the king of CC and Shred, which are 2 very strong, powerful components of the Animo element. And all the other Archons are like this. Zhongli, King of Shields, Raiden Shogun, Queen of Energy Regeneration, Nahida, Queen of Elemental Mastery, Farina, just Queen of everything. So, as I say, Archons are masters of their element. On top of this, they are also very give and take. They give something very important to the party. Venti gives massive amounts of CC. Zhongli gives massive amounts of survivability. A gives massive amounts of energy regeneration, so on and so forth. But they also need something from the party. Venti gives CC, but his personal damage, which is actually pretty decent, I'll grant you, would be shit without elements to swirl. If it was just him using his normal Animo-based abilities, no swirling, no elemental absorption, no nothing, his damage would be shit. He'd still CC, but his damage would be shit. Zhongli, great CC, or not great CC, great survivability, pretty good CC with his Elemental Burst, decent elemental resistance shred, with his shield, but he honestly doesn't do that much damage by himself. A lot of his damage is built up in his elemental burst, which takes a while to regenerate. He needs other teammates to do the damage. Raiden Shogun provides massive amounts of energies to the party and does really good damage, but her really good damage needs the party to use their elemental bursts. If she just did her burst by itself without other bursts popping off, she wouldn't do that much damage. Nahida needs other elements, she needs other characters to proc, or she doesn't necessarily need other characters, she needs elemental reactions to be procced. She could technically proc them. But if that doesn't happen, her Mark of Skara doesn't proc, and of course, she does no damage. Farina needs a party so that she can manipulate health, because she does party-wide health manipulation, and if she didn't have that other party, her elemental bursts bonus damage would take forever to build up. And if you don't have C6 Farina, you also need a healer. So all Archons need something from the party, but they also give something from the party, which is, kind of makes sense. They're gods, they need worship and all that. It kind of totally makes sense. So, taking that into consideration and putting them all together, here's what I think will be in the Pyro Archon's kit. I think she will summon a spirit. Kind of like Razor's Wolf for his elemental burst, like a spirit that surrounds her. So the reason I'm thinking this is because, first of all, I do believe in the slime theory, and pyro slimes don't really have a lot of... Well, that's not true. They have 3 specific things about them. They shoot fireballs, they blow up when they die, and they ignite themselves. I think that she will take off that last one. She will ignite herself, or ignite the party, and that's what it is. She's bringing forth their burning spirit. And that will be how she applies pyro. It will provide energy regeneration, and it will be the basis of the idea that I'm thinking of. So she will summon a burning spirit, and it will attack in tandem with the person who is active on the field. It will provide, and it will potentially provide buffs. Specifically, I think it would be really cool if the Pyro Archon provided attack speed buffs or crit damage buffs, because those are 2 things that are needed from an Archon. Because I think crit rate will, if there's going to be an Archon that does crit rate, it will be the Cryo Archon, because so many different cryo characters provide crit rate. So if there's going to be something from the Pyro Archon, I think it'll be either crit damage, or potentially, because nobody applies it really that much, attack speed. But that's, anyway, moving quite along. So, the Burning Spirit will provide the energy regeneration, so that's, same thing with Bennett. He's a pretty good battery. She'll have a good battery. It's all tied to this skill. That's how most characters work anyway, so that's not really impressive. But the attack bonus, the big thing that makes Bennett so awesome, the big attack bonus. His attack bonus is based on his base attack. Here's what I think will be the way the Pyro Archon does it. She doesn't provide an attack bonus to the party. What she does is that she summons the Burning Spirit, and it is the attack bonus. The damage that the Burning Spirit will be able to be the big scary Unga Bunga thing that will provide something for the party. So Pyro is all about damage. The Burning Spirit will provide the damage. It will do the damage. So no matter who the character you currently have up is, the Spirit will attack with it, and it will provide massive amounts of damage. And the damage that the Burning Spirit provides will be partially based off the base attack of the entire party. So Bennett provides an attack bonus to the party based on his base attack. The Pyro Archon gets an attack bonus based on the base attack of the entire party. It's an interesting inversion, in my opinion, and it's goes hand in hand with the idea that Archons need something from other things while providing a big bonus. So she gets the base attack. The Burning Spirit does massive attacks whenever somebody attacks with it, and it also doesn't step on Bennett's toes because he can still provide his attack bonus. The second thing, we've covered energy, which was the third. We've covered attack bonus, which was the first. So the second thing is the healing. I don't think that the Pyro Archon will have healing in her kit. I don't think she will be a cast from HP character either, for that matter. Because we just got that. We just got all of that from Farina. Farina has healing, she has cast from HP. No, I don't think we're going to have that in the Pyro Archon. What I think the Pyro Archon will have is a resurrection. We already have two characters, Barbara and Chi-Chi, who both provide party resurrections. Or, not like full party, but if a character dies, they can resurrect it. I think that's what the Pyro Archon's healing will be. So she'll have the Burning Spirit, and if someone dies while the Burning Spirit is activated, it will prevent them from dying, or it will resurrect them, so to speak. And I think that's what her healing will be. Because you have to remember that the chapter title for Natlan is the Incandescent Ode to Resurrection. So it might be a little literal, I might be taking it a wee bit literal, but for the Pyro Archon to have a resurrection ability would fit the theme. And the way I've described it, it would make it so that Bennett would not lose his place. You could still have him drop his elemental burst, have the Pyro Archon go and work with the Pyro Archon, and it would just perfectly be fine. And she would do all the damage. She could be main DPS, she could be... Effectively, the idea is that if you have the big Burning Spirit, it would turn any character into a main DPS, because the Spirit would just attack with it, and its damage would be so good that whoever you're using would just always do damage. It would just be able to take out anything. And on top of this, maybe she'll have some more other things, like maybe when she is active while the Burning Spirit is... While she's the active period and the Burning Spirit is on her, she gets special buffs, because I think the Pyro Archon will be a main DPS, but I think basically the idea is that even if she isn't, she has the ability to turn anybody else into a main DPS via this Fire Spirit. Anyway, that's my idea for what I think the Pyro Archon's, at least her elemental skill will be. Her elemental burst could be honestly anything, we don't know. But I think her elemental skill will be summons a Fire Spirit with massive amounts of attack potential that can turn anybody into a main attacker. That's what I think. Please, if you like my ideas, don't like my ideas, think I'm completely crazy, whatever, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. The reason I started this channel was for discussion. So if you found this video interesting, please do like and subscribe. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.